Hey guys, Matthew here, and yesterday on stream I ran a 6-hour test of farming Uber Lab. Today I'll basically be bringing you guys the result of that test in a pretty short video. So, first off, we need to talk about methodology. I was running the Gift of the Goddess, which is like Uber Lab on crack, with 6 additional enchants at the end for a total of 7. With you pair that up with Twice Enchanted, and you get 8 enchants every lab, which is pretty nuts. I was enchanting item level 86 and above Uber circlets. Why 86 is simple, because plus 3 minion gems prefix requires level 86, but you could normally go with 85 just fine. The thing is, they're basically the same price, so there's no reason not to go with 86, just to try to min-max. These helmets are about 5C each or so for 86 Uber circlets with nothing on them, so pretty damn cheap. Alright, now let's talk about how we ran the lab and the lab itself. Now, one thing to note is that the lab changes every single day. So, yesterday's lab looked like this, or this test's lab, I guess I should say. What I ran for this test looked like this, which was a 9-room lab, which is not the worst lab in the world, but the golden key was really far off, unfortunately, so we had to spend a lot of time to go get the golden key. So again, not the worst lab ever, but definitely not the best. Now, I only did the main path, which means I did not do any of the side stuff, no side keys whatsoever, no dark shrines, no puzzles, right? So I only ran lab for enchants, and that's it. So which means you could actually get more value out of each of your runs if you wanted to spend the extra time to go get the dark shrines, because some of them will give you additional enchants if you get twice blessed, or additional keys for the end chests and all that. But for me, it was 6 hours of just enchant runs, which means you get to the enchant as fast as possible. So yeah, not the worst lab, not the best lab either. Now, note that I'm playing a speed labbing build. I made a video about these builds. You can check that out. I'll have a link in the description. But my build is currently running around at 1170 move speed at its highest point, so it is definitely a fast build, which means if you're doing the budget version, you're probably going to be about 200 to 300 move speed slower, which is probably about an extra 30 seconds to a minute for your own lab run. So do consider that if you were to try to estimate your own results. So talking about results, let's have a look. So I was able to run 66 Gift of the Goddess with 66 Twice Enchanted, and that investment was 18.5 exalts, so pretty cheap for 6 hours of actually labbing pretty much non-stop. So again, 6 hours of labbing, that's a total of 11 labs per hour, or 1 lab every 5.5 minutes, accounting for loading screens, selling items, buying items, and everything else. A total of 528 total enchants over the course of 6 hours. So we hit pretty much, on average, we would have hit almost every single enchant in the game, because there's about 600 or something. So pretty crazy how many enchants you can get with these Gift of the Goddess, especially considering how cheap they are. So in terms of results, 24 random enchants that were an X or so. So that could have been some mana reserved enchants, stuff like that. Anything an X and below, I didn't keep. I only kept enchants which were 2X and above, but I did account for any enchant that was 1X or above. So what that means is that all the enchants that were like 50C, 60C, 70C or whatever, that normally you could probably just sell because the bases are 5C, I actually did not account for those. I don't know why. I was just too lazy, I guess. But realistically, you're more likely to sell more expensive enchants anyways when labbing. The ones that sell the fastest are the more expensive one, not so much the lesser expensive ones, because there's so much additional supply on the cheaper ones, which is why I only kept the 1 exalt enchant accounted for. But in terms of like the actual good enchants we got Power Siphon 2 additional projectiles for 40 exalts, 2 BV durations for 50 exalts, discharge plus 5 radius, cyclone attack speed twice, carry on golems 40% damage, hail device reserved, discipline mana reserved, stormbrand penetration, berserk aura effect, and hatred mana reserved, for a total of 144 exalts. Now we do need to remove the 18.5 exalt investment, so our profit in 6 hours was 125.5 exalts, or 20.9 exalts per hour. Profit, pure profit. Again, if you were playing a build that was, let's say, a few 100% move speed slower because you were doing the budget version of this build, which I have in my other video, you could probably remove, 20 or 30% of that, because you'd be 20 or 30% slower. Now, of course, there are some enchants that are, you know, jackpot enchants like Power Siphon, 2 additional projectiles, or PV duration. But the thing is, you can't just remove them. Unlike lucky drops that I normally remove when I do map tests, you can't just remove good enchants because you are getting so many enchants, right? I almost got every single enchant in the game in terms of how many enchants I got over the course of 6 hours. So, if it was a perfect world and I actually got every one single enchant in the game, I would have gotten Power Siphon, I would have gotten BV Duration, I would have gotten Ice Nova Damage, I would have gotten Temporal Chains Curse Effect, I would have gotten a bunch of other enchants that were like 10, 15, 20 exalts. So saying, oh, but BV Duration twice is too lucky, it's really not. So that's something that you need to understand. When you're getting that many enchants, the odds of not getting anything is very, very low because there's at least 20 plus enchants that are 10x alt or above. And then 10 enchants probably they're like 20x and above. So anyways, I digress. That was our results. Now, if you actually go ahead and remove the 1x enchants, like so these 24 exalts worth of 1x enchants that I did not keep myself, then it actually drops to 16.9 exalts per hour, which I think is still a very reasonable payout for the work that you have to put in. Now, again, remember that if you're going significantly slower, you are going to make less money. So that is something you need to pay attention or to take in consideration. But I do have a budget build that is about 200% move speed slower. So again, that'll do just fine. So that's pretty much it for the video. Like I said, it was going to be a short one. But before I go, I do want to say a huge thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. So Johnny, Michael, Cluzy, Zarashi, Loro, Gaikona, Stefan, Cruden, Michael, JW Player, Scott, Richard, Justin, Alex, Ollie, Matt, Kevin, Marcus, Matthias, Hayden, Bitizen, Axel, and Acid, as well as, of course, anybody else who wishes to remain anonymous and anybody else who has supported me in the past. Now, this list is not updated, and we had a massive surge of recent patrons, so I do want to say a huge thank you to you guys for the support recently. It's been absolutely nuts, and you can check out the Patreon because I've actually reworked all the different tiers to try to make it more available to everybody. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.